To watch more videos and support our channel, Dalit Poetry and Literature, please subscribe. God, Caste, and Reason. A Divine Conversation. Ganesh Chaturthi is a very popular festival. Pandemic has taken its toll on the celebrations. But nature has been kind. It is a beautiful morning. I am sipping chai, standing alone in an open balcony. And I have a newspaper on the other hand. The front page of the newspaper has an image of a Ganesha's idol shown destroying the coronavirus. I was imagining, what if Lord Ganesha had descended into the earth and saw this image? And what I see, all of a sudden, is Vinayaki walking in and standing in front of me. Her face is bright with exuberance. Her arrival brought a sudden rush of positive energy in me. She had control over her body language and was looking at me with a straight face. Her confident posture and sparkling eyes made her appearance as a formless, omnipresent Paribrahma. I initiated the conversation with her. I asked Vinayaki, are you unhappy that not many idols are in display this year? Not many pandals, not many priests offering puja? She said, I have never been enamored by idols, mantras, priests, and rituals. They do not provide vibes of equality. I asked, what? She said, I believe there should be no hierarchy between God and humans. They are the same. Then how would I accept these annexures, which makes a caste supreme and men dominant? I asked, what about Ganpati Melas? She said, aren't political parties engaged in organizing these pandals? Don't companies show their alliance to political parties by funding these pandals? Are they not using these melas for their vested interest? I said, that is true, but it is also about people across caste and creed coming out and celebrating. Did Bal Gangadhar Tilak not create this platform for national integration? She said yes. When the British government banned any political event in public spaces, Tilak was looking for platforms like festivals to get people together. He drew inspiration from Satyashodak Jalsas. These Jalsas were being organized by Mahatma Phule for social messaging against the evil of the caste system. Tilak revived Ganpati Melas in 1893. His Sarvajanik Melas invited participation of everyone irrespective of caste. The religious nature did, however, exclude the non believers, like Mohammedans. This non inclusion means it was visioned as a pan Hindu nationalism and not a pan Indian nationalism. Vinayaki further added, Tilak should have retained the Satyashodak's anti caste messaging. He wanted the presence of what he called service caste brethren without challenging the notion of supremacy of the Brahmins. I asked, how could he have done differently? She said, Ganesh Visarjan as a phenomenon was not in a practice earlier. When an upper caste person confronted him that the deity was being polluted by the touches of the lower caste person, he advanced the idea of Visarjan. He should have rather said that this mindset of untouchability is wrong. I asked, then would he not have been lost the support of Brahmins? I'm sure the Mela would have been a non starter. She said, what is happening now? Tens of thousands of idols are immersed, literally dumped into the ocean. They destroy marine life as well. Even today, environmental activists seek an eco friendly idol rather than demanding the ban of the Visarjan itself. And of course, there is a large mass of people participating, but they have inertia, especially on the issue of caste. Isn't Maharashtra still having caste conflicts among Dalits, Marathas, and Brahmins? Often the attempt is to find a solution within the four walls of the caste system. I said, isn't that not bad? Otherwise, like Periyar, one would be forced to break the idols. She said, Tilak wanted to mobilize communities for Swaraj. Similarly, Periyar in 1953 wanted to mobilize people against then the Madras government, which then brought in the Kula Kalvi scheme. Periyar's fear was that this policy, aiming at encouraging children to learn the traditional jobs of their parents, would restrict them to their own caste occupations. He told disadvantaged that given they were told that the god created untouchability, the first thing to do would be abolish such a god. He asked for potters to specifically make Ganesha idols for this purpose and asked participants to break such idols. I asked, you mean it is no different from Visarjan? She said, in fact, It is very different because Perrier's act was to rather challenge the caste system. I asked, does discrimination in the religious places exist even today? She said, a couple of years ago, a Dalit procession carrying an idol was attacked by the dominant caste for entering into their streets. The attackers from upper caste broke the idol carried by the Dalits. Why is the breaking of the idol in this case not seen as hurting their sentiments? Again, just last year, in August 2019, a Dalit legislator was not allowed to touch the idol in the Ganesh Pandal. Similarly, 3 years ago, a dominant caste principal of the college sacked a Dalit sweeper for having touched the idol while cleaning the periphery of the idol. Further, even the upper caste women, when they are menstruating, are not allowed to touch the idol. These are not isolated incidents. I asked, why is this happening? She said, we do not have the sense of dignity and respect for all kinds of people and all kinds of work. We have false sense of honor, basis our community, our caste, our religion, and even our country. As Periyar said, we must primarily trust our reason. Our reason will help our emancipation. A thoughtful Vinayaki took the newspaper and disappeared in the drawing room. I was still thinking of the photograph of the Ganesha idol killing the coronavirus, wondering whether the market is entering the religious domain or the religion is trespassing the territory of the market.